Okay, good morning to all of you. I'm just about to start the class, and we are trying to learn the shell programming, some of the control structures, and various expansions that the shell is going to perform. We have learned so far how to pass the command line arguments to a shell. Also, we have already seen, right? And how to write a small function in shell program. So functions can be written in shell by using the keyword function and then the name of the function, followed by parenthesis. No arguments in between because the arguments are by default available in the form of $1, $2, $3 like that. So multiplication table function is developed in this particular manner. So in order to display the output, we normally use echo command. And whenever you want to display the value of a variable, we use dollar followed by variable name. Or in the case of a parameter, we use dollar followed by 1, 2, 3, and so on. So this is a small function that we have developed. And then we are calling that function by using the control structure like for loop. For n, if you don't specify anything, n takes, every time it goes through the for loop, it takes the next parameter, next command line argument. First time it goes through the for loop, n takes the first parameter, first command line argument. So that means it is invoking m tab followed by $n. That means $1. So first parameter you are going to get. The next time second parameter, next time third parameter, and so on like that. So all of you are slowly getting accustomed to the shell programming. And then how to pass the command line arguments, how to use various facilities that are there, all that we have also seen. Difference between $* and $@. That also we have seen. $* indicates all the command line arguments. $1, $2, $3, and so on, each one of them. So when you use for I in $*, this is a general syntax. For I in followed by anything, any list of values. $* expands to all the command line arguments. So this is equivalent to going through the for loop. Every time it picks up the next argument. So it is printing basically that, just to understand. $@ also is exactly the same, except that they differ in their meaning only when you put them within the double quote. When you put $* within the double quote, it considers all the command line arguments as a single entity, as a single value. Whereas when you put the same like a $@ within the double quote, then it is equivalent to putting the double quote against each one of the argument, each one of the command line argument, so that it is going to work on all the command line arguments once for each one of them, right? So this is exactly the same as that of the first for loop, whatever that we have actually talked about, this particular for loop. So this we have seen. And then we try to learn about how to reverse the command line arguments, how to print the command line arguments in the reverse order. So echo arguments in reverse order, and then let L equal to $#. How many arguments are there? $# will give you the number of command line arguments. If you are giving 5 arguments, your $# will be 5. So you are first finding out how many arguments are there and printing the arguments in from the last to the first. So by using in this particular manner, for I equal to L, I greater than 0, I minus minus. Dollar followed by curly brace. Within this, when you use not symbol, its meaning is indirect expansion. It is not going to print $I, dollar followed by that number. Instead, it's going to print the corresponding value, what you have actually this thing. Because $I here is the number. I is taking, when it is going through the loop, I is taking the numbers here. Like I is going to be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and so on. Whereas you are not interested in printing 5, 4, 3, 2, and so on, but you are interested in printing $5, $4, and so on, like that. So that when you use not followed by I, it's going to perform indirect expansion because I value may be 5, then its total meaning is $5. So that fifth argument will be printed. So this is what we have learned so far. Right, today we will go through some more control structures and write some more simple uh, simple programs to understand the control structures basically. Right? Any questions so far? So are you able to follow it? Are you any of you are trying there, trying to learn and all that? Any questions before starting the next problem? వినిపిస్తుందా నా మాట కనీసం? My voice clear?
Yes, sir.
మరి అది కొంచెం చెప్పొచ్చు కదా ముందుగానే, 4 సార్లు అడిగితే కానీ. All right, so let me then move on to taking another small problem, and in the process try to understand the control structures in bash or born again shell, right? So let us take it up one by one. So probably here, this is what it is. We will save this as, then where to MP only, here. Now what is our interest right now is probably all of you are familiar with finding the greatest common divisor, GCD kind of thing. GCD. Actually, shell programming is not meant for doing this number arithmetic and all that. Most of the time, it will work on text files and then perform different text processing operations so that some kind of database applications can easily be developed. But because all of you are familiar with this kind of number crunching and all that, trying to understand the control structures, about how to use them and all that, we are first solving some of the numerical problems. So GCD.sh, right? Let us save and then save it. Now this is GCD equivalent one. M table and all that we can close this. Capitals we can close. Space we can close. Marks.txt, students.txt. Okay, so this is GCD problem, right? Essentially, maybe we can remove all of these things. So our idea is whenever you invoke GCD.sh followed by 2 numbers. To find the greatest common divisor, you require 2 numbers to begin with at least. Then the greatest common divisor between the 2 numbers can be found out. Like the logic can be, there are different ways in which it can be found. But I will take it up very simple way of solving the problem. Let us say you want to find out a GCD of 12 and let us say maybe 32, let us say 12 and 32. So one simple solution is always, given the 2 numbers, you always find out or you always try to subtract the smaller number from the larger number. That is the logic. Keep doing that. So what is the greatest common divisor? Keep subtracting or repeat subtracting, either way. Keep subtracting smaller number, smaller of the two numbers naturally, from the larger number. Naturally, larger number you can subtract the smaller number, very easy, no issue. So this is how the logic will be. Repetition. Keep repeating that. So when it is GCD of 12 and 32, next time the numbers will be 12 and 32 minus 12. 32 minus 12 is 20. 20. The next time you have to keep repeating that till such time both the numbers are same, until the two numbers are equal. So again 12 and 20 minus 12 is 8. Next it will be 12 minus 8 because 12 is bigger now. 4 and 8. And then 4 and 8 minus 4 is 4. So the GCD of 12 and 32 is 4. So this is the kind of logic that we will be building. This kind of logic we will build into the shell program. Right? A very simple mechanism. So naturally here you don't know how many times you have to keep doing this. So whenever you don't know how many times, normally we use a while loop. As long as some condition is true, like execute the statements within that particular loop. So that is the idea. So we should know about like which one is bigger, which one is smaller, and that also we require. So here you require control structures related to while do, and also if then else. If condition also you require, because which is smaller we have to find out and then do something. So you require a while as well as if. So both you are going to learn because of this particular problem. Right? So yes.
Some people need to join it.
I can't keep waiting, right? So slowly all of you need to develop the culture of joining the class on time. Right? Anyhow, I will be uploading the videos and all that, no issue. So if at least if they ask me like wait for some time, I can. I don't know when they are likely to join, right? So about 17 are there, maybe 15 students may be there. So about 50% of the students have joined. That's what I can understand. RC Shinde, I don't know, only RC is having this problem of admitting and all that. Okay. Others are able to join without any issue. All right. So, shall I proceed? Like, I think they can just watch the video that is going to be uploaded, right? So it's already 15 minutes passed away, right? So let us go into this. All right. So that's the logic here. The logic what you are building is a very simple logic. Now you have to implement that particular thing using the syntax and semantics of a shell program or shell programming language. It's a language actually. It is an interpreted language. Okay, so we will actually develop a small function for that so that it will be easy rather, right? So function means naturally, so you'll say fun ctin. This is a keyword. And then GCD is the name that we have given there to the outside. We should be able to give even here also GCD. GCD is the name of the function. We'll give the same, no issue. Bracket begins and ends. Then curly brace begins. And curly brace closes. So first let us actually use some local variable concept and then like put them into that, and we'll keep changing the corresponding things. right? So what we will do is we'll take two variables, A and B probably. So A is equal to $1, right? First parameter that is going to be passed. B equal to $2. Second parameter that is passed to that. Now we have to keep repeating. So keep repetition means you require a while. So you say while and then a condition. Whenever you want to have a condition, you use the square bracket. This is equivalent to actually test followed by the condition. There is a command called test. That's going to verify whether the condition is true or false. And the same test command can be used by using a square bracket. Use a square bracket and then whatever comparison that you want and all that. Numeric comparison, as you can see, like whatever that you do in this context, here, for example, man followed by test. This test is a command that is indirectly called actually. So check file types and compare values. That is the purpose of this. So how can you do that test followed by the expression? So for example, if you want the numerical comparison, you can see here integers. వస్తుంది దీనికి వస్తుంది మా దానికి నేను మాట్లాడతాను ఏం చెప్పేదా వస్తాడు 10 నిమిషాల్లో అని చెప్తాను 10 నిమిషాల్లో వస్తాడు సంతకి పోయినాడు అంటాను చెప్తాను చెప్తాలే చెప్తాను నువ్వు ఇంకొక మాస్క్ కూడా వేసుకోవచ్చు మేలేమో రెండు మాస్క్ మీద మాస్క్ ఆ మనుషులు ఎక్కువ ఉండే చోట ఇంకోటి పెట్టుకుంటే మేలు So integer followed by condition. You see the condition here. It's not the greater than, less than, equal and all that. You have to use this particular thing. Whenever you want to compare two numbers whether equal or not, you have to say number minus EQ and then this. Not the symbol or operator like equals. Greater than or equal is minus GE. Greater than is minus GT. Less than or equal minus LE. Like that. So this you have to use actually. So you can come back to this and what is to be done? Equal, right? As long as they are not equal, that's what you'll have to say. So you say $A. Not equal is hyphen followed by NE. Hyphen followed by NE. You can see here, for example. Not equal must be there somewhere. That's right. This is the one. Integer not equal integer 2. So this is how you'll have to actually compare the values. $B. So as long as both of them are not equal, you have to repeat the loop. You have to repeat the loop. So you say do. Now what is to be done? If both of them are not equal, we have to find out what is the bigger one and subtract the smaller number from that. And subtract the smaller number. That means bigger number must be changed. So for that you have a if condition. So you have to use if, right? There is a keyword called if. If followed by. Here also you can use the square bracket. Here also you can use the square bracket. Condition. Wherever a condition is there, use the square bracket. If followed by square bracket. What is to be done? $E. Less than, right? Less than means hyphen LT. Less than $B. $A is less than $B. Right? If this is the case, you have the keyword called then. If $A is less than $B, what is to be done? $B is bigger. So B must be changed. So whenever you want to change this thing, you try to use the let command. It is easier to use. So you say let B is equal to B minus A. B equal to B minus A. Else, right? Else is else. Else is this particular thing. Else means the other way. So let A equal to A minus B. And if condition is going to end by using reverse of if. That is one style actually. Fi. It is going to end with the keyword fi. If is you just reverse it, that is what it is. See, because we are learning a new language, and that language has its own syntax. Somebody has designed it, and we have to use the way that they have designed. So it's a very simple mechanism. If condition, then for all the commands, all the statements or commands you can put between then and else, they will all be executed when this condition is true. Whereas all these commands between else and fi will be executed when this condition is false. It is a very simple mechanism, right? So this part is done. So, and after that, done, right? So as long as this between do and done, all these commands are executed as long as that part. By the time you come out of it, we know that both of them are equal. $A and $B, both of them are equal now, by the time you get out of this particular thing. So here, how to return the value? How to return the value? So probably you can just simply say echo, so that the output of that can be assigned to something else. There is nothing like a return statement. Maybe we'll look into that a little later. But what we can do is probably just simply say echo, and then $A or $B, both are one and the same. Both are one and the same. $A. And after that, close the function. Right? So this is how we have actually developed a very simple function. I think there should not be any difficulty in understanding this particular thing. Okay, so now you can actually see the entire thing, right? There should not be any difficulty. The functions are written like this: keyword function, name of the function, bracket begin and end, curly brace begin, all the statements. Parameters are available in the form of $1, $2, and so on. A equal to $1, B equal to $2. And then because GCD, as long as both the numbers are different, we want to subtract the smaller number from the bigger number. So conditions are done by using the square bracket. And you have the syntax for comparing numbers, comparing strings, all those things. So what are the things that are possible? If you want to learn, go through man followed by test. All those things, whatever are there in that, they are all okay. Then whenever you want to change the values doing arithmetic calculations, use the let. Use the let statement. It is going to be very simple. And at the end of the function, whenever you want to return the value, you normally say print it, echo followed by whatever it is. Now, this entire thing is over. We have developed a function, but we have to call that function, right? You have to call that function on the parameters what the user is going to actually give. So you can say then, like here, if you want to even find out whether the user is executing this properly or not, all that also we can do. For example, how to use this command followed by two numbers we have to give actually. Two numbers must be passed on. In other words, two arguments you require. Two arguments, command line arguments are required. So here we can say some kind of the actual program begins from here, right? In other words, so you can say if command line argument, number of command line arguments. How do you know? It is $hash. If number of command line arguments is not equal to, right, is not equal to 2, for example, is not equal to 2. If the number of command line arguments is not equal to 2, then you have to display the syntax of about how to use this. Display the syntax about how to use this particular, our command or whatever, echo. And then you can say syntax or help or usage, right? You can say usage. Colon. What is to be done? The command GCD or whatever, right? So you can say that command is naturally $0. That command is available through $0. $0 followed by 2 numbers, basically. 2 numbers. So for that you can say number 1 and another number. Some kind of help you are actually trying to give. Number 2. That's all. After this, you want to exit. So if you want to exit, you also have exit here. Exit followed by maybe 0 if it is successful. Otherwise, exit 1, let us call it, because it is not successful. And after that, F5. Directly also you can give F5. There is no else part here. So you are already exiting there anyhow. So once you come to this below 23rd line, it means that user has passed the 2 arguments that are required. Now we can invoke very easily by calling the corresponding thing. So you can say GCD. You are calling the function now. You are calling the function. Function name is GCD. GCD followed by $1 and then $2. $1 and $2. Whatever the command line arguments that the user is passing, they will all be available here. That's all, right? So that's the only thing what is actually required. So now save it. I'm just saving this particular thing. Coming back to the command prompt here. This is the place where we are. So this is what it is. And when you display all these things, you have gcd.sh. But you don't have executable permission for that. So you can give the executable permission by giving the chmod +X. Give the executable permission to X. Executable permission to this thing. gcd.sh. Now if you see, gcd.sh has got the executable permission. No issue. And then, how are you going to run this? Let me clear this screen. Okay. Now, how do you run this? By just simply passing on. So, display all 191. G means there are so many. Oh, GCD. Dot sh. Just give only like this. Command not found. So the same problem actually, path problem, because like you have not made it permanent. Path is still, path doesn't contain that dot current directory there as a part of it. So you have to give dot / all that. Okay, for the time being, let us give like this particular manner. If you just simply give like this, syntax error, there is some problem probably. We have not, line number 20. There is a problem in line number 20. We are using less than symbol. That less than has got a special meaning, right? Redirection, input redirection. So that's why like it's giving an error. So let us rectify that particular thing. Here, there is a input redirection. So probably the meaning of this must be changed. You give a / here, hoping that that's not going to be considered as a special meaning and all that. Let us see what is going to happen. So you're using the / there so that the meaning of redirection is nullified. Now when you try to give the same thing, now you can see usage dot slash GCD dot sh number 1, number 2. So because you are not supplying the enough number of arguments. If you give only one parameter to this, still it should give this particular thing. If you give two parameters, 12 and 32, so there is a problem there somewhere in line number 27. Do you understand now? Even though a part of the entire program is correct, still it is able to continue. It is continuing to that point where there is an error. So there is an error in line number 27, right? 27, but actually it has printed 4. It has displayed 4 there. Output is there, but there is an error in line number 27. So let us see what is the problem in 27. Oh, so here this is not required, right? So it is a copy paste problem, right? So this is the last statement actually. So this entire thing is okay and all that, and ultimately GCD followed by $1 and $2. So if you want, you can also print GCD of all that particular thing. The best possible way is actually let me give result R is equal to and then execute this particular thing. So if you want to execute something, we use dollar bracket, right? Dollar bracket. So here. So it is executing that, and the value of that is getting replaced there, so that whatever is the result that you are getting from GCD function, that result will be assigned to R. That result will be assigned to R. Now you will be using the output in a proper manner. Echo GCD of what? $1 and $2 is $R, right? Because you have got the result into the variable R. So you say $R. So this is more appropriate. So what is the reason? You are able to use the function like a function. You are able to use the function like a function, so that like you are calling the function and the value returned by that in the form of echo or whatever is assigned to the variable R. And then if you want to use that R for some other purpose, you can do all those calculations. So we are basically printing that particular entity. So after this, now you save it. Now coming back to this particular thing. So we will now create this and then call this particular thing. Now we can see GCD of 12 and 32 is 4, right? So it is able to identify what it is and all that. The other way also you call it, you should naturally be the same. 32 and 12 is 4 and whatever, all other possibilities. 10 and let us say 19. 10 and 19. Naturally, if one of them is prime, the GCD will be 1. Right? If both of them are co-primes, also GCD will be 1. Right? Essentially, this is what it is. Any questions?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Right. Okay. Thank you. So essentially, this is all simple actually. There is hardly anything. You are able to develop functions. You are able to use the control structures, while loop, if then else, that kind of stuff. There is no return statement here. Instead of return, you normally use echo like this. And then depending upon, like here, you are calling the function. Dollar followed by like this. You are calling the function in this particular manner. And whatever is the output, that is assigned to R, essentially. So you need to understand these little things, and then there should not be any difficulty. So we'll develop one more similar to this. There is a built-in function called factors. There is a built-in function called, not function, rather command, you can say, factor. There is a command called factor. So if you call the factor without passing any arguments, it is waiting there actually. Here you can give any numbers as such. For example, 14. Give me the factors of 14. Prime factors, it's called. 2 and 7 are the factors. Whereas if you give 12, prime factors are 2, 2 and 3. If not the prime factors, let us display only the factors, right? For 12, the factors can be 1 is a factor, 2 is a factor, 3 also is a factor because 12 is divisible by 3, 4 is a factor, and so on like that, right? So let us do something along this line, factor related entity. So for that also you require some kind of loop and all that particular thing. And we need to know whether something is divisible by something or not. So that kind of mechanism we require. So do you have anything like that for doing the calculation? For example, let A equal to 10 mod 6, let us say, and then echo essentially is mod operation there or not. That is what we are actually trying to find out. So A is 4 naturally. The remainder after dividing 10 with 6 is 4. So if remainder is there, then straight away we can go ahead and develop the function, develop the logic, develop the corresponding command, whatever. All that is possible. Prime numbers, you should be able to do that with this entire explanation and all that, right? So let us now go into that particular thing here. So factors. For factors again, like we can probably have another this thing name. Factor, or instead of factor, we'll call it as factors, right? Something different, a different name you are actually trying to get. Store it into that. For factors, normally, like you can pass on a single argument, or if multiple arguments are passed, you will try to print the factors for all the arguments. So now, here what to do? What is the logic? Develop a function for that. So you call factor here. Factors, right? So the same, it need not be the same name. It can be any name. We are using factors here as a part of it. So only single parameter it requires, basically. Right? So and so on. Factors of that particular entity. We have to now build a logic anyhow. So how to do that and all that. We can remove this entire thing, no issue. Number of arguments. Number of arguments, there should at least be one argument because one number must be there actually. If multiple numbers are given, for each one of the number, you will print the factors. So that's the logic. So if it is less than, right? If it is less than, number of arguments is less than 2, meaning that 1, there is only one argument. One argument can be okay. If it is less than 1, then it's a problem. If it is less than 1, then it's a problem. And then number followed by, it's a number probably. And after that, you can put a dot dot, right? That means any number of numbers. That is the meaning. What you are trying to give the syntax of how to use that particular thing. Okay, so this is there. And otherwise, now you have to call. You have to call the factors for each one of the parameters that is going to be passed. Right? So that's going to be passed. You don't get the result, instead you will print the corresponding thing. Now you can see here for a for loop. For every argument, for every command line argument. So you say for I, like this, loop. And then done. In between, you have to call the function. So how are you going to call this? Factors, right? Factors. Right. Factors followed by dollar I. Dollar I. So whenever you are calling the factors with parameter, then it should actually find out the factors and print. So that echoing and all that will happen there itself. Echoing and all that will happen here itself. Now here you have to actually build the logic. So if the number is divisible by, right, something, essentially probably you need to divide that right up to probably half of it. Right up to half. Some logic, right? So naturally, you try to start with 1 and divide that number, whether remainder is 0, and then with 2, with 3, and so on in that particular manner. Let us try our logic and then see what is going to happen. So we need to repeat, right? So for example, a for loop also may actually be helpful. So you can say for bracket begins I is equal to, that I is different from this side. Or to be safe, we can always use a different variable. For a is equal to, in other words, 1 semicolon. A, here you can use less than and all that because its syntax is C like syntax. So A equal to 1, A less than, right up to that particular number. Right up to that particular number is $1. Or with the same this thing also you can. So equal to also probably. Right? Like this. And then A equal to A plus plus. Right? A plus plus. Like this. So this is there and then do. And after some time, done. You have to keep repeating. So here what is to be done? Here you can say, and in the very beginning, let us have some echo statement. So you say echo, factors are. That's what you would like to display, right? Some message. So factors. Factors of $1, right? $1 or colon, and then the numbers will be printed. And then whatever the factors, they will all be printed. So, right, you are building the case. So here do. Now you need to verify whether $1 is divisible by A or not. A means A is 1, 2, 3, and so on like that. So you require an if condition. If square bracket begins, and then what? Like you must find out the remainder, and the remainder is 0 or not. So that entire business you have to somehow do it. So something equal to something. So essentially now you need to find out some calculation. What is that calculation? Is number divided by that. There are two ways for you to easily understand. A reminder can be done once. You can say reminder R is equal to dollar followed by bracket begins is a command, and this begins is the actual expression. Or you can use let also, in fact. You can use let, right? All of you are, it is easy for you to learn one thing and keep repeating. So you can say let R is equal to what? $1. $1. And then reminder is percentage, followed by with what? You have to try it out with $A. $A. A is 1 in the beginning. You are trying to divide with 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on like that. What is the remainder? So you are getting the remainder there. You can use that here also, in fact. So that you can try it out later. So if $R now, if $R is equal to 0 means it is exactly divisible by this thing. So you say hyphen equal to 0. Equal to 0. Then what is to be done? If it is equal to 0, you have to print. You have to print the output. So you can say echo, print the output without any new line, so that they will all come in the same line. Factors of 12 are 1, 2, and so on, something like that. So it's going to give all those things. So you say now echo. So in order to display something without a new line, we have already seen -n, -n, without a new line. So what is the output to be displayed? $A, because it is divisible by $A. So you say $A, $A. That's it. So, and then there is no else part. So directly if is going to end. Fi. So you're finding the reminder, and the reminder is 0, you are printing that particular number, and again going back, taking the next number, with that next number, is it divisible, and so on, like that. Right? So after that, at the end of that, at the end of this, you want to have the new line. So you can have new line here. Just simply echo. It echoes the new line. That's all. So now you are actually calling factors followed by for each one in that particular manner. So we just simply say save. So this is the version. Now we can try it out. We can try it out there. Save it. Come back to this particular thing. And then clear the screen to begin with. And then like we have to give the permissions, right? So it says chmod plus, that means x executable permission you are giving to what? Factors. Factors. Right, factors not as. Now it is there, so you can say dot slash. How to run this? Factors. We just give only like this, it's going to display the usage. Going to display the usage. If we give the 12 here, factors of 12 are, actually they are all getting clumsy there. We need to give some comma as a separator kind of it, so that we know what's going on. And all these numbers also should come in the same line. That is our idea actually. But we have not implemented all that properly. So here also, it should not print any new line there. It should continue in the same line. So you say -n. Factors of that are all that is there. And then whenever like these things, so echo -n $A. And then in case you want to have some space or something like that, space only you want, you can always put a like this, and then a space like this. Within the double quote also, it's going to expand. If you put within single quote, it will not be expanded. So you can say now, because you want to have a space also there, so you are putting all that. Just a minute. There is a call. Hello. ఏం వేసిన అది వేస్తున్నారా? అదేలే మన నాయనకి వేసే అది దొరుకుతుందో లేదు చూడాలి. 2 రకాలు ఉన్నాయి అందులో, కోవాక్సిన్ అని. 2 వస్తాయంటనా? అయితే మరి వాడిని నిలబెట్టి మనం నిలబెడమన్నవాడ. నాయన బయట దీనికి పోయినాడు, మార్కెట్కి పోయినాడు. వస్తానే చెప్తా, బయలుదేరి వస్తాడు. వీడు లేడా? ఓహో. సరే, అర్థమైంది. వాడేమన్నా నిలబడగలిగితే, ఇప్పుడు నాయన రావాలంటే ఇంకో గంట పడుతుంది కదా. మళ్ళీ మాట్లాడతారులే వస్తూనే. రైట్. రైట్. Okay, so you can put that inside thing inside the double quote so that if you want to have a space, that is also possible like this in this particular manner. So you use double quote and then whatever message that you want. Even here also you can put if you want. So for example, here a double quote or and after colon also you want to have a space, you can have a space in a number of spaces and all that like this. Then that entire thing is going to come there. So that's a good practice also in fact, keeping that so that whenever you want to have a space also can be included. Otherwise, if you just leave the space at the end, it's not going to be a part of the output actually. So this is the small change that you have made. So now you can save and then come back and run the same thing. See now, factors of 12 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12, right? In this particular manner. So you can give now, for example, 12 and 32, right? Then it's going to give for 12, those are the factors. For 32, these are the actual factors. Like this, any number of items you can actually give so that it's going to repeat for each one of the argument, for each one of the argument, right? So it is a very simple mechanism. There are many more actually, like control structures. You have while do, you have seen. Similarly, you also have do while, which you should be able to practice. And there is a case, switch case, that is slightly different. Its style and all that, switch and all that. It takes time in the sense that we'll have to look into that particular thing. Okay, so this is about the factors and other things you should be able to develop and so on. But after this now, I want to just go through the last session arguments and all that. The same, this particular thing. This is there. Okay, no issue. Multiplication table is there. Right? I think now you are able to use different control structures and then write small things as a part of that without having any difficulty. Okay, so let me just go through here. What are the other things we have? We have arcs reverse. Arcs reverse is there. We have seen arcs 3 hyphen sh. What is there in arcs 3? Arcs hyphen. This is a bigger one. What is there in 2? Right. So this is what I wanted to actually tell you. Arcs 2. See, you want to display the command line arguments in the reverse order. There are different solutions for that. There are different solutions for that particular thing. And let us see how simple it is actually. So the other one we have seen is arcs reverse. Maybe this particular thing. Right. This is one possibility. The other thing is by using arrays and all also we have done, in fact, right? We have done that particular thing. But the same thing now, pay attention to this, what we are actually doing. Pay attention to this. There is something called IFS, input field separator. Input field separator. So, whenever you use dollar star or whatever, let me come back to this and then try to explain what we are actually trying to understand. So here itself, you can also set the arguments and try to learn actually. For example, set, right? And then give whatever that you want. Amar, and then Lata, Ari, something like this. 3 entities. Now, by using set in this particular manner, the meaning of this is you are setting the first command line argument, right? Without actually calling and all that. Like this also you can set the command line argument. Now your $1 is Amar, $2 is Lata, $3 is Hari actually. You can verify that. You can verify. Echo dollar is Amar. And then $2 is oh, $2 is Lata. And then $3 is Hari. You want all of them to be printed? You can say echo $star, right? Echo $star. It's going to print all the three. We know that. In between, there is a space. There is a space. If you change the value of the input field separator, this is the default behavior. Whereas you change the value of this IFS is equal to, for example, you put a comma there. You put a comma. Now your input field separator is comma actually. Even though you are calling it as input field separator, it uses even for output values. Now if you say $star, you are getting still the same, right? You are getting still the same this thing. Whereas you put in this particular manner, see there? So when you use within the double quote, a $star, it is expanding all the arguments separated by your input field separator. Separated by your input field separator. Comma, 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 and so on. Right? Instead of comma, if you initialize that with, for example, a new line instead of comma, you initialize the same thing. The other day we have seen like how you can initialize the new line kind of thing and so on, right? By using in this particular manner, dollar followed by like this, right? Your input field separator is now a new line. You should not give straight away within quote new line, but precede that with dollar, especially whenever we are using the non-printable character, invisible characters kind of thing. So now your input field separator is a new line. Then whenever you use like this, you can see there, each one of the command line argument is printed in a separate line. In a separate line. So when once all these things are printed in separate line, first argument in first line, second one in second line, third one in third line, and so on, right? You are getting certain thing. And then you have something like, there is a command called TAC. Cat, you know it, right? Cat command, what it does? Cat followed by, let us say, capitals. Cat followed by capitals. When you display like this, it is displaying Hyderabad, Amaravati, Bengaluru, Chennai, Mumbai, and Bhubaneswar. The same thing when you use a command called TAC. TAC. There is a command called TAC, reverse of cat. Then what it is doing, you can see, it is displaying the last line first, and then the next last line, and so on. At the end, it's going to display the first line. It is reversing all the lines within a file, right? That's what it is doing. It is printing all the lines in a file in the reverse order. Last line first, and so on, like that. So if you want now the reverse of all the command line arguments, you pass that to the tag. You pass that to the tag. So as you can see now, what we can do is probably, when you queue like this, it is going to. When you pass the same thing, when you pass this output, the output of this is passed as an argument to another command. Right? So it is actually now Amar, Lata, and Hari is going to be the output passed on to. That output is going to become the input for the following this thing. So when you give this to the TAC, you can see that Hari, Lata, and Amar. First Hari, that means the last argument, and so on, like that. For example, you can say set followed by, you can use the curly brace expansion, right? Curly brace expansion. And then probably here, there are different ways anyhow. you can say, for example, ROM, RAM, and then curly brace, and then followed by 1 2, let us say, or even you can say 0 1 0 1 2, and then probably 10 ROMs. 10 ROMs you are going to get. Actually, now it is setting 10 command line arguments. You can see very easily, like this. See now, ROM 01, ROM 02, and so on like this. Those are the various things. You want to display all of them in the reverse order now, right? In the reverse order. You can just simply pass it on to TAC. Then the arguments become ROM 10, ROM 09, and so on in that particular manner. So the same thing is going to happen in that particular manner, right? So the reverse is going to become very simple. Reverse is going to become very simple like this. Either you can put the new line there in that particular fashion, or here also you can say dollar single quote a new line single quote, and then echo dollar star. That means all the arguments that are passed to that is going to be this thing. This is a very simple what you call reversing of all of them. Slash bin slash PA. Then you. So this is args2.sh, even though the name is like this, but it is going to perform the reversal of the command line arguments. Reverse of the command line arguments is going to happen in that particular fashion. Now I can come back to this particular thing. Come back to this particular thing. Clear this. అది కాదు కానీ సుమతి చేసింది వాటికి పోయిందంట ఖాళీగా ఉంది వేస్తాండారు అని చెప్పింది. అది ఏమో 2 వేస్తాండారు అంటుంది. ఆయనకేం తెలీదు. వాడు లేడు, వాడిని పోయి నిలబడమని చెప్పిన. వాడు లేడంట. నువ్వు మాట్లాడు ఆయనతో. చేయొచ్చు కావాలంటే నాకు. అదే వీడు ఎవరన్నా లేరా, ఎవరన్నా నిన్ను తీసుకుపోయిన వాళ్ళు పెద్ద పోవడం. అవునా, లేవ సాదా ఉంది కదా నేను కొడుకు ఏమన్నా వచ్చింది, వానికి బండి కావాలి కదా ఉందా? వానికి బండి కూడా అవునా? Just a minute, like I'm just going to join. There is a small break. Jaswant, ఏడుండవా? అదనకల్లే ఏడుండవు అని నీళ్ళకానికి వెళ్తున్నావా? అర్థమైంది. ఇప్పుడు
హలో సార్, నమస్తే సార్. సార్ అది గవర్నమెంట్ హాస్పిటల్ వేస్తా ఉన్నారు ఉంటారు రెండు. హలో, రెండు గవర్నమెంట్ హాస్పిటల్ వేస్తా ఉన్నారంట. మా మనిషిని క్యూలో పెట్టా.
Okay, so let me complete this particular thing. Like ops2.sh is already having the executable permission. How are you going to run this? Dot slash followed by ops and then hyphen. Hyphen is there, right? Okay. Hyphen 2. ఇలా జిరాక్స్ ఏమన్నా ఏడన్నా తీసుకుంటే వాడు ఆడైనా చేయొచ్చామని తీసుకో. ops2.sh followed by you pass on the parameters 1, 2, 3 like this. See the last argument first and so on. It's going to do exactly the same reverse kind of whatever you pass on within this single argument. This entire thing is a single argument. Whenever you put anything inside a double quote, the whole thing is become single argument. Now the output is going to be in this particular manner. So you can actually give solutions in a number of ways actually. It all depends upon how much knowledge you acquire, how many other commands that you are familiar, and you can give a variety of solutions. So a lot of flexibility is there in shell programming, in Linux, the tools are available and so on. If you slowly understand and digest and try to acquire the required knowledge, it's going to be really what it is, a handy one to get the jobs, or in future whenever you want to solve the problems, right? It becomes very easy. So I have some other urgent work, basically the vaccine and all that. I need to attend to that particular thing. Today I am just closing at this particular thing. Try to practice all these things. Maybe, and I will also upload all the videos, the programs, and so on by next class. That is going to be next week, Tuesday. By the time I will try to upload the videos and all also, right? So for today, I'm just winding up the session at this point of time. So far only 21, even like initially also. So I'm just about to stop the recording. If you have any other questions,